Mauricio Umansky reveals plans to go on a trip around the world. Mauricio Umansky isn't slowing down. Kyle Richards' estranged husband is so busy with his real estate career and has some big plans ahead of him this spring and summer. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills husband recently took to his Instagram story, where he recorded a video of himself sitting in his car with under-eye patches on, while he detailed all of the exciting things that are ahead of him. "We are off for a pretty incredible 2.5 weeks," he said. "Today, I'm heading out to Detroit, Michigan, and Birmingham to visit our office in Birmingham. I'll be back in Leh, then I'll be celebrating a pretty special celebration that I'm excited about," he continued. "And then I'm off on a trip around the world in a very short period of time. I'll keep you guys updated, and it's just very exciting stuff." Although Mauricio did not share where he will be heading in his trip around the world, it sounds like he is ready for it. In the summer of 2024, Mauricio did something similar when he traveled around Europe throughout the month of July and even checked himself into a meditation retreat in Switzerland. But it shouldn't be too hard for Mauricio to find something to do during his trip around the world. The real estate agent is a huge fan of golfing, going to concerts, and hanging out with his friends. Mauricio Umansky shares an update on his health after he broke his clavicle. Things have been looking up for Mauricio, who is still recovering from surgery to repair his broken clavicle after breaking it in a February ski accident. Mauricio took to his Instagram feed on May 1, where he posted footage of himself working out at Monarch Athletic Club in West Hollywood, doing everything from medicine ball drills to kettlebell swings. "Working hard at getting that shoulder strong again," he wrote in the caption of the post. 9 weeks since my accident. Let's go." Mauricio Umansky reveals where he stands with Kyle Richards today. Mauricio also recently revealed that he is in a very good place with Kyle. The agency founder spoke with Briefing on Bravo during a night out in Leh, where he shared a few details on how they are doing today. This was before Mauricio was seen hanging out at a club with Kyle and their oldest daughters before Mother's Day. "We talk all the time," he said, before stating that things are amazing between them. "I love her," he added. Mauricio Umansky's grand adventure, a trip around the world to rediscover, recharge, and reconnect. Mauricio Umansky sat in his car, the California sun casting a golden hue through the windshield. A pair of under-eye patches clung stubbornly to his skin, but his energy outshone any sign of fatigue. The camera on his phone was rolling, capturing a casual yet confident Mauricio for his Instagram followers. "We are off for a pretty incredible 2.5 weeks," he began, his eyes crinkling into a smile. "Today, I'm heading out to Detroit, Michigan, and then Birmingham to visit our office there. I'll be back in LA for a special celebration, and then—" He paused for dramatic effect. "I'm going on a trip around the world." His voice carried the weight of something bigger than a vacation. This wasn't just an escape, it was a calling. The spark of departure. Just weeks ago, Mauricio had been nursing a broken clavicle from a ski accident in Aspen. He'd spent 9 weeks rehabilitating his shoulder, pushing himself through pain with kettlebells and medicine balls at the Monarch Athletic Club in West Hollywood. As the tendons in his shoulder stitched themselves back together, something deeper had begun to mend too, the frayed threads of purpose, of clarity, of something he lost over the years. It had been a whirlwind year. His real estate empire, the agency, had reached new heights. He was appearing on reality television more than ever. His marriage to Kyle Richards, while strained, was rooted in decades of love and shared history. Their relationship was amazing, he told Briefing on Bravo, and it wasn't just for the cameras. But the truth was more complex, nuanced by late-night conversations, moments of distance, and new beginnings. Mauricio had reached a crossroads, not the kind marked by bright signs and exit ramps, but a quiet internal junction. He knew it was time for something transformative. A journey, not just across continents, but into himself. He texted his assistant, "Clear my schedule for the next few months. We're going around the world." Detroit and Birmingham, seeds of legacy. His first stop was Detroit. He wasn't just there for business, he was there for meaning. The Birmingham office of the agency was one of their newest, and Mauricio wanted to connect directly with the people building the future of his brand. Inside a conference room, surrounded by eager agents, he wasn't just talking numbers, he was storytelling. Real estate is about people, he told them. It's not just square footage and contracts, it's about dreams, families, connections. That night, he walked along the Detroit Riverwalk, the cool spring breeze sweeping across the water. He looked out at the skyline and thought about legacy. His daughters were growing up fast. His marriage was evolving. His body had taken a hit, and so had his spirit. But what was next? Maybe the trip wasn't just about seeing the world. Maybe it was about seeing where he fit in it now. Los Angeles, a celebration, a closure. Back in Los Angeles, Mauricio returned for what he called a pretty special celebration. Friends speculated. A new office, a birthday, a reunion. He kept it vague on Instagram. But in truth, it was personal. On a warm spring evening, he hosted a private dinner at his Beverly Hills home. Kyle was there. So were their daughters, Farah, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia. They toasted with laughter, reminiscing about trips to Aspen, their showbiz pasts, and late nights around the kitchen island. It wasn't a reconciliation, not yet, but it was peaceful, familiar, kind. "Thanks for everything," Mauricio whispered to Kyle as the night ended. "You'll find what you're looking for," she said softly. And with that, the next leg of his journey began. Kyoto, the silence of South Japan, was Mauricio's first international stop. He arrived in Kyoto just as the cherry blossoms began to bloom. He checked into a centuries-old ryokan tucked away from the tourist paths, a place known more for quiet reflection than luxury. He spent the first 3 days in near total silence. No meetings, no Instagram, no emails. Just meditation, matcha, and walking beneath pink canopies of sakura petals. He visited the Arashiyama bamboo grove at dawn, the stalks whispering above him. He journaled daily, pages and pages of thoughts he hadn't made time for before. One evening, in a dimly lit temple, he had a breakthrough. He wrote, "I've been building things for everyone else, for my family, my team, my reputation. What do I want to build for me now?" Mumbai, the fire within. From Japan, he flew to India. In Mumbai, life was chaotic and beautiful. The city pulsated with life. Tuk-tuks weaving through traffic, incense curling into the humid air, and Bollywood songs blasting from every corner. Mauricio didn't come to India to escape, he came to feel. He visited the Dharavi slums with a local entrepreneur who ran a youth mentorship program. There, he met 14-year-old Ravi, who had dreams of becoming an architect. "Why?" Mauricio asked. Ravi smiled, pointing to a crumbling building nearby. "Because we deserve homes with beauty." Mauricio felt something shift. He wasn't just seeing the world, he was being seen. Reminded of purpose through the eyes of a boy who had never heard of the Real Housewives or the agency, but who shared the same drive. Tuscany, wine, laughter, and letting go. Next stop, Italy. In Tuscany, Mauricio stayed at a vineyard owned by an old client who had become a close friend. Days were filled with wine tastings, pasta-making classes, and laughter that echoed through the villa. He let himself relax for the first time in years. One night, under the stars, his friend asked, "Are you running away from something or toward something?" Mauricio took a sip of Brunello, then answered, "Maybe both. Maybe neither. Maybe I'm just moving." The next morning, he danced in the vineyard with strangers. It was silly, joyful, freeing. He recorded a story for Instagram, smiling wide. You never know what you'll find on the other side of the world. Sometimes it's just you being happy. Rio de Janeiro, the rhythm returns, Brazil brought rhythm. In Rio, Mauricio walked the beaches of Ipanema and hiked up to Christ the Redeemer. He surfed for the first time since his accident, paddling hard despite his still recovering shoulder. When he finally caught a wave and rode it to the shore, he shouted like a teenager. At night, he danced at samba clubs, sweaty and smiling. He met a woman, Ana, a travel photographer with fire in her eyes and stories on her tongue. They connected, briefly but deeply, not romantically, but soulfully. "I think you were broken open," she told him on his last night there. "Not to fall apart, but to let more in." Patagonia, the stillness of strength. The final stretch of his journey took him to Patagonia, vast, windswept, and wild. There, Mauricio hiked alone for hours each day. The terrain tested his shoulder, the cold tested his will, but the silence, that gave him strength. One evening, perched on a cliff overlooking a glacial lake, he called Kyle. "I'm not the same," he told her. "I didn't expect you to be," she said. "I just hope you found what you needed." "I found something better," he replied. "I found myself. Coming home." 2.5 months later, Mauricio landed back in Los Angeles. Tan, leaner, wiser. His office had a welcome back banner,